Welcome back, my loyal subscribers. In this video, I'm going to share what I consider one of the best ellipse watch alternatives out there by Pascal, their oval bubble. Let's check it out. Welcome back. Pascal was kind enough to send me their oval bubble watch for review and to also share awareness of their products. However, please know that my opinion in my review will be 100% honest, and I will tell you what I think after we get through the specs of this watch. This is probably not a brand that you're familiar with. I actually came across this brand browsing through Instagram, and of course the ads, they're amazing. They're always after you and your money. They caught my attention. As you know, I'm an avid watch fan and collector. I love vintage and vintage inspired watches, so Instagram ads caught me, and I definitely clicked on it, and I went on the page, and to my surprise, there were a couple things that caught my eye, but there was one particular model that caught my attention, and that was the oval bubble model. So when you take a look at their Instagram page and their website, you'll notice a couple of kinds of watches that have timeless designs. A lot of the vintage and timeless designs are usually more often unisex or more modestly sized. You know, on the wrist, they fit smaller. And if you're into vintage watches, that's something that you get accustomed to. And if you're new to vintage watches, this is something like of an acquired taste that dates back to the first watches that were worn on the wrist as opposed to putting in your pocket. They were definitely a lot smaller than today's standards. Now, like I said, the Pascal oval bubble caught my attention for a couple of reasons. As the name suggests, it's an oval, but as many of you watch fans will know, we refer to this as an ellipse. And this is reminiscent of Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Universal Genève that have these amazing watch designs with the ellipse shape that are just classic, and the sad part is usually very hard to find and difficult to pay for because they're so expensive. So let's take a look at the specs, the design, and I'll give you my thoughts. So we've got pretty good specs on here. So take a look at this. Swiss Quartz Ronda 762, water resistant 30 meters, which is about 100 feet. We've got a sapphire crystal. I don't think it's coated with anti-reflective coating, but it is sapphire crystal, so that's a win. It is a 24 by 30 millimeter case size. So it basically wears like a 30 millimeter round watch, which is a very vintage size design. Due to the oval ellipse design, it does take a little bit more wrist presence than you would think, even though the dimensions are a little bit smaller or a lot smaller than you're quite used to. The strap width is 15 millimeters, which if you're familiar with vintage watches, they tend to be under 18 millimeters. A lot of Cartier vintage watches are around 16, 15. I've even seen some 14. Now, let's talk about the good stuff. The dial, the design. What is it that caught my attention? So let's take a look at the dial. This is a salmon dial, which that alone is very attractive. It is textured, and it has a sort of textured shine to it. So it's not just a flat dial. You're getting the color that's very attractive, without being too salmon, which sometimes comes off as too coppery. So it's a textured shine. You'll notice it's not flat, like I said. It has a 3D quality because at the very center, it is actually deeper than the rest of it. So the center is deeper. The outer part perimeter, where you would see the hour markers, are slightly raised. And then the logo is both at 12 and 6, which is a very clever design of using the P for Pascal in 4 ways to make their logo look. And it has a very fancy look to it. It's at 12 and at 6, and it's basically a third height at this point on the dial. Also on the dial are 2 lab-grown diamonds. They are 0.02 carats. And you'll notice on their website and their Instagram, they pride themselves on the diamonds. They do try to place a diamond somewhere on all of their watches and the jewelry. So these are lab-grown, ethical diamonds. They add that shine touch to every model that they produce, whether it's a watch or jewelry. So you'll see that at the 3 and 9 o'clock, which adds to the symmetry with the logo at 12 and 6. So these are all at the same height. The third height is what I refer to. So you got the 12, 3, 6, and 9. The main crosses on the watch are all raised. So we've got 3 different levels. And then at the very perimeter of the inner circle and the outer circle, you will notice a sort of embossed design that makes me think of like embossed paper. And it's not a dot as it looks from far away. It's actually like a ladder zigzag design, which is really neat. So overall, looking at this watch through the macro lens was really awesome because I did like the attention to detail that they put into this watch. Finally, the strap. So this is a brown leather strap that has an alligator embossed pattern on it. Personally, the strap is the least impressive part of this watch to me. This is one of the things that I would quickly switch. But then again, this is me being a watch collector, and I love having a variety of straps that help elevate a watch. In my opinion, I think a Saffiano leather strap would look amazing on this watch, either in blue or in black or in brown, like a dark brown, or like a nubuck, I think it's pronounced nubuck leather strap that will add a little bit more texture to make this design pop. So personally, I think the strap that it comes included with, it's a bit tough, so it will take some time to break in and get a little softer. So my recommendation would be to upgrade the strap to a Saffiano or the others in blue or brown, and that would definitely elevate this watch even more. Okay, so who is this watch for? And I'm going to approach it in 2 manners. The first is, what are we getting for the money? For the price of $195, I personally think you're getting so many vintage cues and unique designs and elements that you won't necessarily see in a fashion watch, so to say, or like your Macy's JCPenney level watch that you'll find in the everyday department store. So what I mean by that is you're getting a sapphire crystal, which you usually don't get at this price point with fashion watches. You're getting a Swiss movement, which you may or may not get. You're getting a touch of diamond, which are real diamonds to make this thing pop. And then finally, you're getting a design that is just timeless. A lot of the fashion watches out there that you might buy at an everyday store as a gift for someone are going to be very basic, straightforward, minimalist designs that really don't, in my opinion, don't stand out. This design stands out. If you take a look at the case again and you see it on the side, it has a coined side on both of the sides. We've got a coined finish that just elevates this model, and then just the oval ellipse style of the bezel is very polished very well. The gold tone comes through very well. A lot of these gold plated watches in this price point tend to not look like gold or not give you enough warmth. I think this one does give you enough warmth and gives you that color tone regardless of the lighting that you're in. I have noticed that I have some models that I was not happy with the gold plating coming off as warm, and this one does hit that mark for me. So overall, for this first point, I think for the price and the design, you're actually getting something that I would consider rare. Unless you're buying a vintage watch and doing a lot of research to find which companies made Ellipse watches, which were many, but they are harder to come by nowadays due to the age, a lot of them coming from the 70s and 80s. A lot of the modern watches today are not Ellipse designs. So it is harder to find an Ellipse today, and without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So in my opinion, this is a very good offering for the design and the price point with all these features that it includes, like the Swiss movement, which is reliable, the sapphire crystal, the diamond, the proper gold tone. Now, who is it for? This is not a tricky question, but more of a matter of taste. If you're into vintage watches, you know they are typically smaller. And I am very used to smaller watches. I have used like the Tank Must from the 70s and 80s, which were a lot smaller. This wears very similar to those Tank Musts from the 70s and 80s. I would say, based on how it looked on my wrist being 7 inches, I would consider the perfect sizing to be for men, maybe 6 to 6.5 inch wrist to make this design pop and not look too small. And for women, obviously 6.5 and below, it's definitely a statement piece. But for someone like me at 7 inches, I think I could pull it off, but it does leave me wanting it to be 3 to 4 millimeters bigger, hitting the 34 size, because this is a 24 by 30. But I would say it is a unisex watch. It just depends on your wrist size, depends on the fit that you're used to having. I love salmon dials. I love gold tones. I think the dial is detailed and minimalist at the same time. There is balance in the design that I would say it's nice for a dress watch. Definitely, this is a great birthday gift, Mother's Day gift, Christmas gift, whatever that is. I think this is an awesome watch to give to someone who isn't as familiar with different watches and watch brands. People who don't pay attention as much to brand name but appreciate design, and I think Pascal offers you good quality, good design at a good price. So like for those people who would probably buy like a Michael Kors or even a Bulova watch, I think this is a great alternative while giving you an even more rare and sophisticated look. So overall, I was very happy with the watch, and I think my wife was even happier with it, and I have footage to show you. Throughout the video, I've been putting in photos and footage showing you how it looks on my wrist versus her wrist. And overall, I think it's a great offering from Pascal. I do wish they had a slightly larger version to fit more male wrists, because I do think the Ellipse design is a gap in the watch market. But please let me know your thoughts below, and if you're interested in checking it out, check out my link below. And they were kind enough to offer me a 20% off discount to all of you. So go ahead and put Marvin20 when you're at checkout, and you will get 20% off this $195 watch. And if you check out the website more often, you will notice that they do have like the buy one, get one at an even better discount. So check that out if you enjoyed this. There are other models that I didn't mention here, but because the oval ellipse was really something I'm passionate about, I really wanted to review this watch. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.